Studio. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning, Sinyan.
All right, let's begin with surprise, surprise, COVID-19 news. This week was a significant week because it marked the 1 year anniversary since the first case. And so there were some statistics announced, right? And you some updates about that?
Yes, so as of the 19th, which was this Tuesday, it's been a year since the first confirmed COVID-19 case appeared in Korea. According to the statistics, more than 73,115 people have been infected and 1,283 people have died. And among them, cluster infections accounted for 45.4% of the total COVID-19 cases. And most of the infections were traced to religious facilities as well as nursing homes.
And I understand that you have also broken down those sectors by more detail as well. So tell us more about that.
Yes, first by the age group, 61% of the entire infection cases appeared from the people in their 20s to 50s, and the rate was the highest among people in their 20s due to their social activities, followed by patients in their 50s and 60s. And next up, we have the gender, and the report showed 51% of the females as opposed to 49% of the males. So there were slightly more females than males infected. Lastly, we have the region. So 61% were confirmed in Seoul and its surrounding areas, most in Seoul by 30%, followed by 25% in Gyeonggi and 5% in Incheon. And other than Seoul metropolitan area, the second most infections were reported from Daegu, which was 11% of the entire cases.
Right. And of course, many of those cases from Daegu were a part of that first wave that we experienced almost a year ago now. What about the mortality rate?
So the mortality rate was highest among people in their 80s and over, with 56%, and followed by 27% in the 70s. And for the age group of 20s and below, there was no case of death. But adding to the report, health authorities urged that although new infections this week have been slowing down, we all need to keep our guards up against a possible uptick.
Right. And I know the authorities are very nervous about the upcoming lunar holiday. But there's another reason that we should also be extra cautious, and it's not just related to COVID-19. Because with the Lunar New Year, we receive and we also send a lot of text messages. We also receive and send a lot of messages regarding presents or the deliveries as well. But apparently we have to look out for some scam numbers because they also increase during the holidays.
Yes, SK Telecom's Telink showed the top 10 country codes of international scam calls that have been reported and blocked during 2020. According to this data, number one country where the most international scam calls were coming from was Samoan Islands, and 32% of the entire international scam calls were coming from this country, and its country code is 685. And the second highest number of scam calls were coming from a Polynesian country called Tonga, and they consisted of 14%, and its country code is 676. And last year, a new number that appeared and ranked number 5, which took up 4% of the entire scams, was actually a satellite telephone code, which is 88213. So if you get a text or call starting with the numbers 685, 676, and 88213, just watch out and don't reply.
Yeah, these are just the 3 of the 10 most used numbers for these scam calls. Again, if you don't recognize the number, I would say just be careful and don't maybe answer it, or especially don't click on anything. There were a lot more scams than usual last year. I think a lot of people were taking advantage of the confusion going on. Do you want to introduce some of these other scams that were available too?
Yeah, well, due to COVID-19, we've been getting a lot more text than usual, such as the package delivery and government's various relief funds related text messages. And scammers have been sending URLs which lead you to illegal websites or even micropayment using your personal info from the phone.
So any advice on how we can prevent becoming a victim to such scams?
Yeah, like you said, if you get any text or calls from the unknown number, please just don't call back or text back. But if you called back by mistake, hang up immediately and do not click on any URLs if you're not familiar with the contents or the incoming number. And there are actually call prevention apps you can download, and they'll let you know and filter any suspicious numbers in advance for you.
Yeah, I think I have to download one of those for my mom as well. Moving on to some other news now. The government has announced it's going to expand subsidies for eco-friendly vehicles. Tell us more about this.
Yes, the Ministry of Economy and Finance decided to provide 20 million won to those buying electric cars this year and up to 40 million won for hydrogen-powered vehicles. The amount of subsidies could vary depending on the energy efficiency and the price of vehicles. And so this year, in order to increase sales of low-priced models, cars priced at over 90 million won will not be able to receive state support.
But is there also a plan to increase supply of these eco-friendly cars?
Yes, definitely. In 2021, the government plans to supply 121,000 more electric cars, up 21% from last year's plan, and 15,000 hydrogen cars, almost 50% more than 2020. And not only that, the country will also install more than 31,000 electric car charging stations and 54 stations for hydrogen cars.
And for those of us who don't have our own cars or who don't have the means to buy our own cars, what about for public transportation?
Yes, the government will go green on public transportation by aiming to have 1,000 more electric buses and 180 hydrogen buses on the roads. And even electric taxis will also be getting additional subsidies of 2 million won, considering its great impact on the environment.
Yes, and we've also been seeing in the news about some deals being pursued by Korean automakers with foreign firms as well. So let's hope that they lead to some great results.
Yes, the so-called Korean New Deal pivots on digital innovation and eco-friendly growth. So I hope this lays out a new economic blueprint for the coronavirus hit economy.
I do too. Thank you very much, Angela.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend and we'll see you again on Monday.
Yes, you too. Bye-bye.
From the latest headlines to conversations about the trends and shifts that shape society.